My father was a brilliant artist. His paintings were more than just colors on a canvas. They were fragments of his soul. But his final work, a portrait of a hauntingly beautiful woman, was different. It wasn't just a part of him. It was a part of something else entirely. He spent months on it, becoming more and more obsessed. He'd lock himself in the studio for days, emerging only to eat and sleep, his eyes hollow and distant. My mother and I grew worried, but he'd just smile and say, "It's almost perfect. She's almost perfect." He spoke of the painting as if it were a person, and it began to feel that way. At night, I could hear him whispering to it, a strange, one-sided conversation. The day he finished it, he unveiled it with a triumphant grin. The portrait was stunning, a woman with piercing green eyes that seemed to follow your every move. But there was a coldness to it, a sense of deep sadness that was unsettling. My father, however, was in ecstasy. He hung it in the living room, a place of honor, and would spend hours just staring at it. Soon, things began to change. Small objects in the room would move. The temperature would drop when we walked past the portrait. My mother swore she saw the woman's mouth twitch into a faint, dark smile when no one was looking. We tried to talk to my father, to beg him to take the painting down, but he refused. "She doesn't like to be moved," he'd say, his voice now a low whisper, almost like he was protecting a secret. The fear became unbearable. The night I woke up to a faint clicking sound. I crept downstairs and saw my father in the living room, his back to me. He was standing in front of the portrait, but his hands were not his own. They were painting something on the canvas. As I got closer, I saw what it was. He was painting a perfect replica of himself, standing next to the woman. The look on his painted face was one of pure dread. I screamed his name. He didn't turn around. He just kept painting, his hands moving with a strange, unnatural speed. I grabbed his shoulder, and as I did, his eyes met mine. They weren't his eyes anymore. They were the same, lifeless, cold green as the woman in the portrait. I ran. I fled the house and never looked back. The police found my father's body a week later, lifeless in his studio, with a single paintbrush unclutched in his hand. The portrait, however, was gone. Years later, I received a package. Inside was a small, dusty portrait of my mother. In the corner of the canvas, I saw a small, barely visible detail, a tiny, unblinking green eye. What do you think happened to the woman in the painting? Do you believe a work of art can have a life of its own? Share your thoughts below.